Gun Nation, how is everyone doing? Let me know if you can see me and hear me, please. So type something in there and let me know. I'd appreciate it very much. How's everyone doing this evening? Hopefully well. Let me know. All right, good deal. Thanks, Art. Thanks, Pistol Pete. Hello, everyone. I appreciate y'all joining. 17 should be in. A couple of guys might be out. Thank you, Dennis. All prettied up, gray. You know, got the peppered look. We're not going to hide it. I had one guy ask me in one of my videos the other day if I dyed my hair part gray and part black. I was like, no. So, what's up, Humble? How are you doing, man? I guess you're at the airport. But yeah, what we're going to do this evening is I'm going to take a bunch of questions. Anything y'all want to ask, you know, please throw it in there. I mean, we've got some, I've got some questions here I'm going to ask. What are y'all thinking about the Hellcat? I know that Ranger bought one. I think he bought one. I can't remember if it was Ranger or someone here in the chat bought one. But what do y'all think about the Hellcat? You know, as far as the hate that it's getting, you know, the looks, do you like it? Do you not like it? And I understand, you know, if you're Springfield, you know, you don't care for the company and all that other stuff, I understand. But what do you think about the gun itself? Is it impressive to you? Not very much so. Too comparable to the SIG P365. You know, I've had a bunch of questions about that, what I thought about it. So, you know, there you go. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and answer this. Dennis B, I have a pistol light question. What do you suggest for a P07 and a P10C? I have quite a bit of lights. I really prefer the TLR1 Streamlight because I like a longer light. I also have the TLR7 and 8, the one with the laser. TLR7 is a great light. Of course, it's not as many lumens as the TLR1. But, and I'm talking about the TLR1 HL, the high lumen. And I really like it. I do prefer a longer light. And I've said that in other videos and on chats. If you have to gut check someone, I like the light preferably to stick out a little longer than the barrel. So it will not knock the gun out of battery. So that is my preference. But, you know, by all means, if you want to use something else, please do. So, all right. Yeah, a lot of people are saying the SAS is better than the Hellcat. You know, in the SIG P365 SAS, and of course, that's that Meprolite sight that they put in there. But, you know, when you put that down in the slide, you can't put a red dot on it. So if you get the optic ready version, then that sight back there is kind of useless. Or you really wouldn't have the SAS version. But, you know, if a 365 optic ready, and then the Hellcat optic ready, you know, they're both very similar. But let's see here. 357 Magnum wheel gun suggestions. Hate snub nose or short barrels? I like the Smith & Wessons, of course. I have one Smith & Wesson 357. It's an older one. Hang on, Big Al, and I'll tell you the model number because I can't ever remember it. So I have them listed for the 357. And hell, I don't ever even shoot it. I've had it forever. What is the number on that thing? Oh, it's a Model 27. I have the Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum Model 27. And it's a great pistol. It's an old one, clean as a whistle. But I really don't shoot it very much. I used to shoot it a lot when I was younger, but not so much anymore. Let's see here. Yeah, actually, I have even, and one thing that I test a lot of my lights on is my 12 gauge, my 590A1. I want to put it on the pick rail and blast some slugs with it and see if I can mess up some lights. And give you a hint, a light that I used to show and talk about, or a light brand, blew one up on my 590A1. It completely blew up. I mean, came apart, the whole light. So that is why I don't use those lights anymore. So that particular brand. But let's see here. Yeah, and as far as lasers on pistols, are y'all big laser fans? Having a laser on a pistol? I'm all for lights, but what do you think about the lasers on a pistol? 2.0 45 is a tack driver. Yeah, it's a really nice pistol. Matter of fact, I still love my Shield 45. It's a great little 45. Shoots better than, hell, I can shoot it better than some of the small alloy 45s. Let's see here. No laser beams. How much do you need a laser to pinpoint with a shotgun? Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the reason to have a laser on a shotgun. But if it helps people aim and it makes people feel comfortable in shooting it, by all means, use what you want to use. I'm not anyone to judge. That's why we have 31 flavors. Everybody likes something different. But let's see here. Yeah, and I posted a bunch of stuff on Instagram. Like some things. Had this question, and I was going to ask it in the chat also. What would you do if you were in a department store or somewhere walking around, and someone walked up to you, just someone, and said, "Do you have a gun on you? Are you carrying a gun?" What would you say? Would you say, "Yes, I am"? Would you say, "None of your business"? What would y'all say? Posted it on Instagram today, and I've got some really good comments on that. But what do y'all feel about that? What would you say? Or what would you tell the person? Tell them no? Okay. That's Dennis B saying no. What is a good, cheap CZP10C? Is that what he's asking? Let's see. Well, man, these comments are flying by. What is a good, let's see here. What is a good, cheap CZ-P10CP? Well, the standard, the original P10Cs that they're discontinuing, you can actually get those for really good prices. I've got 2 of those, and I love them. So I really like the older ones quite a bit. And, of course, I like the optic ready ones, too, but nothing wrong with those at all. All right, tell them no. I can honestly say no. Not an employee. No. No. No, are you? You want to see it? Cheap CZ trigger mod would be the HB Industries. They actually make a trigger for the P10C. Not sure how much it is, but it's a shoe, and it kind of changes the geometry of the trigger. I don't know how drastic it is. I think I've shot one time. Can't remember. I think someone had a gold one on one, and I shot it. And honestly, I couldn't tell that much of a difference, but I've never owned one and spent a lot of time with it. Let's see here. Hello, Living Like Jay. Appreciate you being on. So I'm in California, not allowed to carry, water gun only. Understood. No, but I got a big flower. Why do you need to know? I would walk away. Sun's out, guns out. I would tell them no. I would say it concerns your person. Yeah, and those are a lot of the questions that I've gotten, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. If you say yes, I am, yes, I'm carrying. How do you know this person's not going to go, he has a gun, and start screaming and cause a big stupid scene? Because I have a feeling there's some people out there that are gonna want to get that type of attention. I'm talking about if you're concealed carrying it, and you reach up on a shelf or bend over or do something, and someone happens to see it print. And I have people all the time tell me, oh, if you shouldn't print. Man, if you're doing crazy bends or trying to reach up for stuff's going to happen. It's not a big deal. But if you say, yes, I'm carrying a gun, you have no idea how those people are going to react, or it could be a complete setup. And that's kind of where I'm going with that. I would never say, yes, I am, unless I'm in a gun store and I'm with buddies and they're asking me, hey, what are you carrying today? That's different. But if you're just in a store and you have no idea who these people are, what they're doing, you don't know undercover, you don't know who they are. Don't be naive and say yes, or, hey, do you want to see it, or let me pull it out, because all you're going to do is probably stir up some stuff. What is a cheap all-metal gun that shoots like a laser? Under $150? That'd have to be the Yeet cannon. I don't know. I don't know of a gun for under $150 that would shoot like a laser. Actually, you know, it might be, you could probably, I've seen them not for 100, not for that price, not for 150, but I've seen some old military issued CZ 75Bs that are like really, really beat up, scratched up, you know, dinged up, stuff like that. And I've seen them for like $200. So it's pretty dang close. Now, I don't know what the barrels look like. I have no idea on that. Let's see. What's the most reliable handgun? Wow. The most reliable handgun, I guess, is the one that works and you have on you at that time that you need it. That's the thing about purchasing a pistol. There's not a most reliable handgun. You know, all the guns out nowadays, the modern guns are pretty damn good guns. So I would recommend buying a gun, taking it to the range, testing it, shooting it, spending some time behind it, make sure there's no issues. I prefer to put at least 500 rounds. If it's a reputable gun, I know there's no issues. I've even put 300 rounds through it. Now, that is of self-defense and target ammo and different grains like 115, 124, sometimes even 147, but I don't really shoot 147 a lot. And I do put flat nose and round tip through it to make sure it'll feed both. And then I feel comfortable carrying it. So that's kind of my little testing. But everybody's different. So got plans to get a Remington 870 Express and a custom slug rifled barrel at some point in time. Yeah, I mean, the 870s are great guns. They work great. The only thing I don't like about them is where the safety is located, the little push button safety down near the trigger guard. Because my fingers are so big, I have a problem pressing them, and I've had 870s in the past, but I prefer the Mossberg because the safety's on the top. So that's just a personal opinion, and I'm a huge Mossberg fan, but everybody's going to vary on that. So as long as it works and it shoots slugs, you're good. Let's see here. Yeah, and you know, even if an LEO, like a police officer, walked up to me and said, "Are you carrying a gun?" I would literally ask him, why? Why are you asking me this? Why does it matter? You know, no one should ask you anything. If you're in a area that you can legally carry, shouldn't matter if you are or not. Yeah, and I mean, I have a permit too, so I don't care. I don't care if I print. You know, I can open carry legally if I want to. I just choose not to. I'd rather be the gray man, but that's just me personally. I prefer the element of surprise, but if you want to open carry, please do. Now, when I go out in the woods and stuff like that, I'll open carry. Or if it's really cold and I know I'm going to be wearing a jacket for 90% of the day, I'll actually, you know, open carry or wear an outside waistband, but I'll have the jacket over it just so you can't see it. And I've actually had my jacket on in the bottom of the gun because it was so long with the comp hung out. And I've been, people have seen it before, but oh well. I don't make it as noticeable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm a big believer in whatever you like. Don't let someone tell you what to buy. If that gun doesn't feel good in your hand, if you don't shoot it well, you know, you can make yourself shoot a gun if you spend a lot of time with it. But if you just don't gel with it right off the bat, or after a couple of 100 rounds or 300 rounds, and you just hate the gun, or it's chewing up your finger, or something's wrong with it, don't shoot that gun. And I always recommend either to go to a friend that has a lot of guns where you can shoot his guns. And I've let friends of mine that are even thinking about guns, I've let tons of friends of mine and people I kind of don't know, I've let them shoot my guns. And so that way they can get an idea, or even recommend going to a gun range and rent guns that they're thinking about, like maybe an M&P, a Glock, or whatever, and try them and see what they like, because everybody's going to differ. Some people automatically, I mean, I know people that they went into the gun store and the guy said, you've got to buy a Glock. These Glock 19s are great. The people bought them, tried to shoot them. They couldn't shoot them to save their lives. They rented an M&P. They shot it great. And then they traded their Glock for the M&P. So it's just, whatever you're going to feel comfortable with. Isn't the Yeet a polymer frame? Yes, I believe it is. But man, that thing is so freaking heavy. I don't even know what it's made out of. It's not, if it is polymer, it's not a normal polymer, because those things are freaking boat anchors. But of course, they're blowback designs too. They might have had them in the past, Saturday night specials. I've got a Saturday night special. They're a little 38 Saturday night special. Heritage Arms 22 shoot like lasers. I do not have any old school Ruger pistols. I had, let's see, well, I had the old, what was it, the Mark III 22 that was the Ruger. I have a 22 Ruger now. It's the 2245, but I've never had a Ruger wheel gun. So never personally have. I've shot them. I've just never personally owned one. Ranger, I actually have shot the X5 Legion. I actually shot KS's when I was down in his area, and I think I put probably, I want to say it was 30 or 40 rounds through it, something like that. Maybe, I think it was 30 or 40. Maybe it's either 30 or 40 or 20 or 30, but I shot it. And for what it is, I think it's a fine pistol. But if I could have, and I know one is polymer with the heavier, the tungsten infused frame and everything, but between the Shadow 2 and the Sig Legion, me personally, I prefer the Shadow 2. That's just my opinion. If you like the X5, by all means, I'm not here to, I'm just giving you my opinions. The 75 Pre-B have great triggers. Yeah, Knuckles, and you can actually even make them better. There's things you can do to those, but they're really not that bad on the older ones right out of the box. And the newer ones are definitely shootable. The double action's pretty stout on them, but you can make them better. So, and just with a basic spring kit, you can make them quite a bit better for the double action. Let's see here. You would say Nunya. Yeah. STI, this is actually a pretty good question. STI or Triarch? I have played with the Triarchs. I have not shot a Triarch. Of course, I've had the STI, the whole deal, and I've got STIs now. The Triarch is a really nice pistol. The STIs are very nice. They take the same mags. It really comes down to which one you like the look of the best, because they are so comparable. I mean, the triggers, you can tune them, you can do what you want to with them. I mean, they are so dang comparable. It's just which one you like better. They're super nice pistols. It just comes down to which one you prefer. Okay, it's actually a really good question. Thoughts on the Grand Power Excalibur? Saw online for $670 shipped. Yeah, Chris Davis, that's actually a really good price on the Excalibur. I have shot Bald and Curious's Grand Power Excalibur. Super nice pistol, really nice trigger. That's if you're not vested in other pistols, that's a great option, and that's really a good price for an Excalibur. I've seen them. Usually they start about $720, I believe. So if you can get it for $670 shipped, that's actually a really good deal. And I can't remember, I think the mags are like $48 for the full size mags. I don't know how much the 10 rounders are, but yeah, I actually looked into getting one a long, long time ago, but then I was like, but I think they're great guns. Shoot really well. And I know Bald is really, really loves his. Yeah, Ranger Andy, I was just talking about the SIG X5 Legion. I have shot it. I don't know if you just came in. I thought you were on there when I was talking about it, but this chat's flying, so I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up. Let me get caught up real quick. Yeah, the Triarchs are kind of expensive. But the cool thing is they're actually made in Texas also. So is STI. This is a pretty good question. What is an affordable 2011 actually? If you just want a basic 2011, Rock Island offers them. They have them at 9, 45, 10 millimeter. From what I understand, they shoot pretty good. Sometimes you have to tune the mags. But other than that, they run pretty well. I know KS has played with them. I've played with them. The things that I don't like about them are the safeties. A lot of the stuff on the Rock Island are very sharp, like the safeties. They're not filed down. I mean, they've got really sharp angles on them. And so they can't catch it, but you can buff them and blend them. There's a lot of stuff you can do to them. Matter of fact, there's a company here in Texas that specializes in the Rock Islands. It's called Hayes Customs, and he is like a Rock Island guru. He also built custom 2011s, but he can take a basic 2011 Rock Island and make it really nice. So, and I can't remember how much he charges. I think he was saying like $300 or $400, but he puts really good sights on it. He tunes mags. He does all kinds of stuff for it. So, if that's something that you're interested in. Let's see here. Okay, opinion. Do people think people are getting more anti-gun? In my opinion, I think the anti-gunners were they were a little quieter. I think they've revved up, and a lot more of them have become more outspoken. And then some of the younger people growing up are hearing all of the crap and the negativity and the incorrect slang, I guess you should say, being spewed by a lot of the news media, and they're regurgitating that. So I'm not saying every young person, I'm saying some, and it depends on the areas that you could be in. But yeah, I think there are a lot more of them coming up, and some of the anti-gunners are moving to gun areas. Here in Texas, we're polluted with it as far as Austin and some of those areas. For people from California, Seattle are moving here, and they have anti-gun beliefs, and they come to a state that believes in guns, and they start pushing their agenda from the state that they were from. So anyway, yeah, the old Maverick 88, man, those things are bulletproof. You just can't, unless you break the trigger guard, because they're polymer trigger guards on the Maverick 88s. But yeah, those things run. I had one that I don't think I ever cleaned, and the damn thing ran forever. I ended up selling it to a cousin of mine. All right, Texas teacher, glad you're here. Let's see here. Have you seen TV's recent video on a 50 cal rifle? I might have not, Logan. I mean, I know what a 50 cal rifle is, but yeah, I've got to throw this up there. Blasphemy. Glocks are perfection. From the Humble Marksman. Yeah, like I said, it depends on what you like. I mean, if you're into Glocks or you're into whatever, just as long as it's a gun, stay into it. Because, as you come around, your choices, your things might actually change. I've seen a lot of people come full circle. Even 17 has. You know, some people start out with striker fires, end up with double action, single action. I mean, there's all different kinds of things. Let's see here. Good stream. Look forward to more. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I understand your phone's dying, so thank you for coming on, and hit those like buttons if you like what you're hearing. Sorry the other gentlemen are not on here. I'm trying to do the best I can to get all the answers and anything y'all can think of. All right. Outside waistband holsters for concealed carry. I actually like Harry's. I know that he's actually redoing them, so he should have his out soon. You know, Safari Land makes good ones. I mean, depending on if you're wanting to put it on a tactical belt or just on your regular belt, there's a lot of good offerings out there. But it's just whichever you like or prefer. All right. Ooh, here we go. At the Humble Marksman, if it's perfection, why do so many modify them? Also, you can just shoot them as good as my PPQ, CZ, 75, or P10C. My wife is a tack driver with her G19, G3. That is the thing about the Glocks. I mean, they're kind of like the Lego of guns. You can make them anything you want them to be, and change them any way you want them to, and you don't have to be a gunsmith to work on them. I think that's what, you know, the big thing is to the Glock. They do shoot, they work. You know, they've been around forever. I mean, they make a great gun. It's just up to you of what you think about them and how you shoot them. You know, I'm not a huge Glock guy. I own a couple of them. I used to be really anti-Glock because I couldn't find the Glock that really, really worked for me. But when I found the 19X and I had the frame molded and undercut, I mean, it's sad, but on the 19X, even with a full size longer grip, I have to have it undercut just so I can get my hands on it. But it's a great pistol. Slide Work Engineering did a fantastic job on it, and it is my favorite Glock. And I really actually like this Glock. And yes, you heard it from me. I actually said I like a Glock. Yeah, it's hard to beat, like Killian was saying, it's hard to beat a good 1911. 1911s, they're nice. I've always loved a good 1911. The trigger, you know, single action only, I mean, they're just really hard to beat. Yeah, Ranger, it would be interesting for you to shoot a Shadow 2, and then you can compare it to your to your SIG X5. You know, some people are going to prefer the X5. I would probably say that person might be more into polymer guns. You know, but if you're kind of into double action, single action, and you like a little heavier gun, you actually might prefer the Shadow 2. I really like the Shadow 2. Even my optic ready ones have been trimmed down, so they're actually less weight. My orange one with the SRO on it, it weighs 44 ounces complete, with the grips and with a +5 Springer extension. On the 17 round mag, it comes in at 44 ounces, and your carry optic maximum weight can be 45. And then my other Shadow 2 for carry optics with the Delta Point Pro comes in at 44.5 ounces. And so they're both underweight for carry optics, and they're both great pistols. And what's interesting on it, one of them has the Cajun Gunworks full pro kit, and it has the barrel bushing. So I'm going to be doing a test on it versus my other one with the Apex kit and no barrel bushing. So we're going to be doing an accuracy test. I'm going to be probably doing it from 20 to 25 yards. I'm not a bullseye shooter, but I'm going to shoot the same ammo. I'm going to shoot it from the same distance on the same day. And they are different dots, but they both have dots. And I'm going to see, I'll even use the same mag, so I'll have the same mag weight and everything. But I'm going to see which one is more accurate, if the barrel bushing really makes it more accurate or what. Because my feeling on that is I've played with them with 1911s. My feeling is the farther you get out, like 25, 30 yards, that's where the barrel bushing is really going to help and make that barrel tighter, for a tighter, fit. and make it more accurate. So that's one of the tests I'm going to be doing. Yes, humble marksman likes to bust balls. Let's see here. All right. Oh, he's asking the humble marksman, how often do you get together with Big Johnson? If my detective mind is correct, it seems like you guys are at the same competition not so long ago. Yeah, we actually drove to the same competition. I think I want to say we've shot in like maybe 3 or 4. I can't remember. Humble might remember exactly. No, maybe. Yeah, because we shot in one where it was really freaking cold. But yeah, since he's been down here, we've been to the range together, been to the indoor range, the outdoor range. We've shot some competitions, 3 or 4 or 5. I don't remember how many competitions together. So yeah, he's a really good guy. He's got a wealth of knowledge. So if you haven't checked out his channel, please do. Humble Marksman's got a lot of information. And he's really the guy that really got me into dots. I dabbled in them at first, and then I said, hell with it. I'm going in wholeheartedly. So that way I couldn't dabble back and forth. I mean, I still can because I have guns without dots, but now I've got a bunch with dots, and there's really no looking back. And it's pretty much due to him. So let's see here. My CZ85 combat with competition hammer and 4 springs to the trigger that equals my Shadow 2 or stock 3. Yeah, the CZ85 combat is a really nice pistol. And I love the 2-tone version of the CZ85. Well armed or wheeled and armed. I don't know if yours is the dual color, but those are sweet. And man, I had the opportunity to buy one a long time ago, and I was like, let me think about it, because I mean, it's not like I don't have enough CZs, and I know they're hard to find. And I went home and thought about it. Next day, I was like, I'm going to go back and get it, and it was gone. So it's got to catch up, man. You guys are flying with these questions, and I appreciate it so much. Yeah, this is a very valid point. Pistol Pete's exactly right. The CZ is more complex for sure and more difficult to work on. I don't know if y'all have seen the pictures I posted on Instagram and stuff, or if you've ever taken down a CZ, but man, with the tiny springs and pins and all this stuff, I mean, it looks like a damn jigsaw puzzle. And that's one of the things that I find very difficult for myself personally to work on them. And I don't really advertise it, but I have pretty bad arthritis. And when I really get these little bitty parts and start playing with them and trying to pick them up and working on stuff, I have a very difficult time doing that. So I usually, like, I've had Humble, help me with some of my CZ work. I've had other people work on them in the past because they're just the parts are so tiny. A Glock is no problem, even for a non-Glock guy. But I mean, of course, I'm pretty mechanically inclined. But yeah, it's just a simplicity with the Glocks and a lot of other pistols too. I've taken down the Shield, taken down M&Ps. Of course, 1911s are no big deal. A lot of people think that they're pretty difficult to work on, but if you've done 1 or 2 1911s, or at least taken them down twice after that, it's no issue. I've taken down 2011s, so. But those parts are a little bigger than the CZ stuff. So, thanks, Voltaire. Appreciate you coming on. Ooh, Ranger. Yeah, and just to let you know, I think YouTube is messing a lot with these things, because just so you know, I put gun on the chat. Matter of fact, let's just look at this. I think it'd actually be really funny to see. I bet you this chat is actually, demonetized. I'm just for curious. Let's just see if it is. It's not showing up yet, but I bet you it's demonetized because I put gun in the heading of the chat. I made a reference to hunting with a 1022, and it's been removed twice. Yes, if you're asking what I hunt with a 1022, yes, I've actually hunted with my 1522, and I have a collection of old 22 like pump rifles. I've got I don't know, 6 or 7 antique 22s, and they all work. They're all functional. And I love 22 rifles. They're a blast. When I was a kid, I shot rabbits, turtles, all that kind of stuff with them. So I love 1022s or 22s. I don't personally own a 1022, but I've shot them. Let's see here. All right. Here's Humble's opinion. The P10F is cool. I finally made peace with it and see its potential. I would need the HBI trigger for it, though. Okay. There you go. A 50 Beowulf Glock. I haven't seen a 50 Beowulf Glock, but I've seen the 50 Beowulf. I have a PCC, but I have an actual PCC rifle. I have not shot it in competition yet, though, but it should be super fun. The only thing I found out about the one that I have is no one makes a mag well for it because it is a patented lower, and it's for American Resistance. They actually have it patented because it has last bolt hold open, and no one makes a mag well for it. So I've even thought about getting a larger mag well and adapting it to it. So that's kind of what I'm in the process of doing. Let's see here. Yeah, open guns are awesome. And Humble and I have seen those people with the matches with those open guns, and good Lord, they're loud, but man, they're freaking awesome. Guess a lot of people are asking other people questions. Is KS okay? He seems not to be active anymore. Yeah, KS is fine. He's just got some work stuff he's working on. So. Hey, what's up, Eddie Massaro? Appreciate you coming on, sir. Lots of good questions here. I shot the new Taurus in Louisiana Cross. Surprisingly, it made me look like I knew what I was doing. Give it a try if you get a chance. Okay, are you talking about the Taurus G3? I'm curious, Eddie, if that's the one you're talking about. But yeah, we've got some stuff that we might be working on with that. So just hold tight. Let's see here. Man, you guys are flying with these questions. Thanks, Art. I appreciate you. He's got to jump off again. Yeah, Keith Gregory, Glocks do work. Good question. Big Johnson Guns and Gear, what's your next theme gun going to be? I've got a couple of space blasters that I've done after the Deadpool. Y'all have probably all seen those. I don't really have a theme. There's one that I really want to do, and I've actually wanted to do it forever, but the Deadpool beat it out. But honestly, and Harry knows what the theme is, and Humble knows what the theme is, but I've been wanting to do this on a freaking pistol, or there's actually, you could even do it on a rifle too. But I've been wanting to do this theme for a long time. So I won't tell you what the theme is, but if I get it done, it'll be awesome. So you can think old school, way, way old school. It's not any hero comics or any of that kind of stuff. It's some legit old school. All right. If Glock would change that goofy grip, I would buy one again. Well, Jay, I actually kind of agree with you. The grip is weird. I know that you can buy like, gosh, I forget the brand name, Timberwolf. I think it's a Timberwolf lower, where it's more of a 1911 grip angle. And I have shot one of those before. It was not my gun, but I shot one and I actually liked that grip angle better. But I've heard, I don't know if this is true, and on the one that I shot, it didn't have any problems, but I've heard that because of that more upright grip angle with the Glock mags, that they don't feed as well. But this particular one that I shot, it fed fine. It shot everything we put through it. And I did like that grip angle. But what I've found since I've customized my Glocks, Warpath actually rounded. He kind of did some Glock molding for me because I told him there's some things I didn't like about it. And now on the 19X, after he molded it, it doesn't really feel like a Glock as much. He did a really good job on it. and I'm actually really liking what he did. So, all right, yeah, see Kim. More thumbs up. I appreciate that, see Kim. Yeah, blast those thumbs up. We appreciate them very much. I say we, I'm the only one on the chat, but sorry the other guys couldn't jump on. They had other things going on. That's understandable because we all have life. Let's see here. All right, what's your opinion on the CMMG 22LR conversion kit for the AR? Personally, I have never shot one of those. I have seen, I know that they offer them. I've seen people use them, and there's some other brands too that people use. And I have never personally shot with any of those. And the reason being is because I have the M&P 1522, and I love that rifle. It is freaking bulletproof. If you're really it's great because it's cheap training for your AR. It's accurate. Has the same controls as your AR. I mean, you go from that to an AR-15, a true AR-15, or even an AR-10, and there's no difference. So that's the thing I really, really like about it. But I've never had a kit where you're taking your 5.56, 223 and turning it into a 22. I know you can put the mag, the bolt, that kind of stuff. I've just never messed with that. I've never shot one, so I don't want to tell you anything incorrect. I'm sure there's probably some videos where we can watch them, people shooting them and see if they're reliable or not. If I don't have any experience with it, I'll tell you. I'm not the guy that has shot everything because I haven't. Yes. Okay. This is actually a really good question. Keith Gregory, is 380 ACP okay for self-defense or go bigger? Okay. In my personal opinion, if you have to carry a 380, and I've had 380s in the past, the only way that I would carry a 380 is with full metal jacket only. I don't care. I want deep penetration. If it goes through you, I don't care. I mean, I don't want to hit anyone on the other side of that person. That's not where I'm going with this. But, 380 in the wintertime with somebody having a thick jacket, a flannel overcoat, something to that effect, 380 is not going to penetrate very well. So if you have to shoot a 380, I would only run it all season with full metal jacket ammo only. I know that they have, and trust me, I have HST 380. I've got all that other stuff, and I've only been able to shoot it into stuff. I haven't shot it through the gel and stuff, and I don't know how accurate that gel testing is, but I want maximum penetration with a 380. So if I had to choose between a 380 and a 9mm, I would go 9mm all day, especially with the smaller 9mm that are coming out or that have been out for a long time. I would much rather have that personally, even with a Shield or, the Glock 43 or something. They're so small nowadays. If you can carry a 380, you can carry a super small 9mm. So myself, I prefer to go compact or full size. And that's just personally myself. And the reason being, and I'll give you an example on that 380. If I had to draw that 380 in a panic situation, I'm probably going to miss that grip. With my hands, I'm going to try to grab it and I could miss it. With a compact or a bigger grip, a full size grip, I'm going to be able to grab it a lot easier out of my waistband and do work if I need to than trying to grab a tiny, tiny grip on a 380. So that's another thing, not so much just the ammo, it's grabbing it in a panic situation. Not panic, but you know what I'm talking about. Something pops up. And I've even said this before. People who are, and also, the Shield EZ 380, that's a pretty decent sized gun. The slide is so easy to rack. Matter of fact, it's kind of built like the M&P 22 compact, and I have that. It's pretty much on the same frame, and that slide, I mean, you can grab the sight and you can rack that slide. It's so easy because it's built for younger people, arthritic hands, things like that. It does have that weird grip safety on the back, but that would be a good option if you have to have a 380. But if you're getting into that size, I'd recommend a 9mm if you can handle the recoil, which I don't think there's any recoil for me personally, but some people could have an issue with that. All right. What distance do you zero your 9mm PDW? If you don't know what a PDW is, it's a personal defense weapon. Some people might not know that the acronym, but I go for 25 yards, 25 to 50 yards. 25 yards I think is sufficient because you can allow for your holdover if need be. But if you're going to hit, somebody in the head or even in a chest area, it's only going to vary within an inch, with an inch or so from 25 to 50 yards. It's not going to be substantial depending on the ammo that you're shooting. But I think 25 yards is perfectly fine. And for the Deadpool, we did 20. I've done it at 25 yards on a head size, which is a pie plate. And I mean, it was super, super tight. So, and I've done that with my SIG, my Scorpion, or excuse me, not SIG, my CZ Scorpion. And man, that thing is freaking accurate. I mean, it is crazy accurate at 25 yards. So I think that that's sufficient. And I kind of justify it like, when I carry it to hotels and stuff like that, if something were to break loose, I'm probably not going to be taking 100-yard shots with it, but 25, like down a hallway, something to that effect, 50 yards at the most is probably going to be the maximum you're going to shoot it. Now I've shot them. I've shot my PCC and stuff at 100 yards, and it's super accurate too. So it's depending on what you want to set it up for and what you think you're going to use it for. Let's see here. Really liking the Smith & Wesson M&P Compact with the Apex trigger, stands up to the Glock 19. Yeah, it's great. I mean, when you put an Apex in a Smith & Wesson, it changes the whole freaking gun. I mean, it makes a Smith & Wesson like really, really nice. So highly recommend the Apex for all of your Smith & Wessons. Let's see here. Do you use the DPM system in any of your pistols? What's your opinion? I personally have not. I know 1776 even has videos on it where you can change the recoil spring and you can tune it and things like that. I have never shot one personally. I've used the stainless steel guide rods, and it adds a tad of weight, which could help with your muzzle climb if you're having an issue with that a little bit. But I know that even Humble has done, like the Glock 34's got the pure tungsten guide rod in it. And yeah, his shoots very flat. I've actually shot it and it shoots really nice. Let's see here. Oh yeah, actually he's even talking about it right here. I didn't even see this comment. I have one gun set up with a DPM. Okay, so he does have that. If I cannot use a heavy tungsten rod, I would use it. Okay, so he likes it, so that's good. Let's see here. Yeah, and if you got any more questions, just keep throwing them in there. I'm trying to catch up. You guys and ladies are throwing in a bunch of questions. Big J, got my Romeo 1 RDE dot on my X5 Legion, nothing but a tack driver up to 50 yards. Okay, cool. Yeah, and Humble and I went out and shot the Shadow 2. I think I've shot at 50 yards before, but we were shooting up an incline, so it was crazy, but that was a long time ago. But this was flat. And first time with this dot, and it was the 5 MOA. I had taken the 2.5 off and put the 5 MOA SRO on it and was shooting at 50 yards. And I forgot I was shooting 115, so there's really not going to be any bullet drop, but I was aiming at the throat, and it was a smaller plate, and I should have been aiming at the chest because I would have hit every one of them at the chest, but I was aiming at the throat because I was accounting for some bullet drop. So yeah, here's Humble right here. Part of the reason I stopped shooting CZ was the damn maintenance. Yeah, I mean, and he's right. I mean, I know that he has done way more maintenance than I ever have. But yeah, it's like a damn jigsaw puzzle with them. But I love them. But yeah, you got to have someone who knows what they're doing or know what you're doing or be able to work on them. P10F has his attention now, but I need to know the maintenance required. There's really no maintenance on the P10F. But yeah, after he really finishes that gun, that'll be interesting to see, comparing it to his Glocks and the P10F, which one he's going to like more. And I know that he was even wanting to get into the P10F. However, they didn't come out in time, so which is totally understandable. 85 Combat is one of the last one made. It's a black on black and now has good wood grips. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, the 85 combats are super nice. I remember they had the gold tone one with the silver or something. I think it was silver and gold or silver and black or something. It was a bitone, I think what they were calling it. And man, I should have bought that damn gun. Yes, the P10F is so cheap right now too. If you buy the older P10F, which is non-optic ready, you can get those like under $4 right now. Matter of fact, Grab a Gun actually has the P10F optic ready on sale for $515. So if you're interested in it, you can go to Grab a Gun if they still have it on sale. But they were selling it for $515 optic ready. Now you do have to buy the plate, so keep that in mind. But you can get them from CZ Custom, QVO Tactical. There's some other people who have them too. Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go. In the off season, I may try to get one cheap, so maybe he'll turn into a CZ P10F guy. Let's see here. Okay, Eddie, yes. Okay, so it was the Taurus G3. Okay, cool. All right. So Humble's liking the P10F. Said he might not change on it, but or platforms, but he does like it. Well, from someone who has shot both, this is just my opinion. I know Humble has his, and that's great. But, you know, like Music is asking, the P10F is interesting, but is it going to be that much better than my Glock? For me, the P10F grip angle alone, and I know it's not drastic. It's not like a full 1911. I do like the grip angle on the P10F, and I like the feel and the ergonomics better than the Glock 34. That's my own personal opinion. You know, I have abnormal hands, which some people don't have, but it is a lot better. So in my opinion, so if you're on the fence about the P10F, I'm really enjoying it, but I'm a P10 guy. I really like all the P10s. Big Johnson, I'm surprised Springfield didn't offer you a Hellcat. To be honest with you, I really haven't done any Springfield reviews. The only thing from Springfield that I've liked in the past, and I'm talking about in the past, is their 1911s. I've really never liked, you know, the grip zone guns, the XDs and all that stuff because of the rear grip safety. And I've talked about that in numerous videos in the past. So maybe they just didn't want me to, or, you know, didn't offer, but I've really never done anything with Springfield or pitched any of their guns. So that could be why. But also a lot of the, you know, the people they send them out to, you know, have tons and tons of subscribers and followers. I don't, but that's fine. I mean, it's no loss on my end. I would have reviewed the gun for the gun and not for the company. I mean, you know, I'm a gun reviewer, so we can all have our personal opinion about that. But I would give it a fair review just to see if I liked the gun. But that's my 2 cents on that. Let's see here. Yeah, 2.0 is a great pistol. Yeah, and I saw the pictures from Humble shooting the P10F, and he had some really good groups with it. What's a life? What's a life? I'm not sure what you're asking me there, Music. CZ is life, if that's what you're asking me. Just joking. Man, I've got to catch up here. Y'all have asked some great questions. Okay, let's see here. This is a good question. BJ, when sending a Shadow 2 to fire for effect, do you pay for your services before you send your slide to them? Yes, what you do is you actually go on their site. You choose, you know, what you want done to it. You put your serial number, your address, all that stuff in, and you pay for it. And then you send it to them. They build it, do everything, and then they send it back. So now actually I work that area, so I actually took mine to them personally. But yes, you would do it all online and you do pay for it prior to that. So they take credit cards and all that good stuff. But great people, really enjoyed working with them. Going to probably do some stuff with them in the future. I mean, top notch guys. And I tell you, that Shadow 2 optic, that thing is so freaking low. You can literally, with the SRO, you can co-witness with your stock front Shadow 2 sights. Those are not aftermarket sights. I mean, it literally, the dot sits right on top of the stock sights. That's how low they've gotten it. And it's super, super impressive. So, and I even talk about that in my last shooting video where I'm shooting it. I mean, it's just, and I kind of show it. I try to show it in the camera, but you can't see it as well. But when you're behind the gun, man, that thing is money. Really, really enjoying it. Let's see here. It looks like a bunch of people are asking someone questions. Yeah, Jay Moore, we were talking about the Springfield Hellcat. I personally don't know. I haven't put my hands on it or anything. I know that I think Ranger 10 just bought one. So when he gets one in. Thanks, Harry. I appreciate it. And have a good night, man. Yeah, and I understand about, you know, the issue with Springfield, and trust me, that was not handled correctly. They said that it was someone lobbying for them, and, you know, that's neither here nor there. I would never want to see a gun company go out of business because they have employees and families to support. I think that probably they should do some other things, maybe, you know, give some money and things like that to, you know, to stop these gun bans and things like that. They need to try to find a way to get their reputation back. It's I would review the gun for just the gun, you know, to see if it's worth a dang. Let's see here. Big J, what do you think about the Berettas? Thinking about buying a 92X Centurion or an M9A3? Like I've talked about in the past, Dennis, I owned the old original Beretta. I actually bought it. It was like a police trade-in. I shot it a lot. It had the crummy trigger. You know, it was just your basic Beretta. No problems with it. The thing ran like a tank. They are great weapons. I have shot the Langdon Tactical LTT with the good trigger in it. It's a nice pistol. I have shot the Wilson Combat version. Those were both KSs. Really nice gun, nice trigger. The only thing I wish that it had is a little longer grip. Even with the base plate on it, I have an issue with just getting my hand on it, but this is just personal opinion. For normal people, it's going to fit your hand fine. The LTT, I really, really enjoyed it. The Wilson Combat was super nice. So if you're thinking about it, I haven't shot the 92X though. I've seen it. I can't remember if they had it at NRA the time that I went. I can't remember. But, you know, if you want a Beretta, I mean, hell, they've been around forever. That's a proven weapon. And, you know, they definitely do what they need to do. Let's see. Is the Romeo 1 Pro available anywhere? Everywhere is out. I'm not sure on that, Channel Cat Chaser. I did get to play with the Romeo Max today. That is kind of like the SRO killer, so to say. And it's, you know, a little rounded, but like the top of it, it's kind of, if you can imagine, it's kind of in this shape, if y'all can see that. It's fatter on the sides. So it's like someone took an SRO, pushed the top and squeezed it. And honestly, I like the look of the SRO better. I kind of, you know, compared them and stuff. And of course, I've got two of the SROs, but I don't really see the big play in it on the Max. But, you know, that's just my opinion. And it does have a larger footprint. I wish they would, if people would stay like with the RMR footprint and stuff like that, it would make it a lot easier because people, that's the thing that I really like about the Trijicon RMR, the Hollow Sun, and the SRO. They all have the same footprint. So you can take the one pistol, mill it for an RMR, and you can put the RMR, the SRO, and the Hollow Sun on it. So 507. So I think that's a good feature to have. That allows me to test more optics too. All right, I got to catch up here. Keenan's saying that the P10F shoots very well. I agree. 1911 and 9mm, they're actually really nice. A lot of fun to shoot. You know, and I'm old school. I mean, you know, 1911's got to be a 45. They won 2 world wars, you know, and all that stuff. I think, you know, if you have a 1911, you want it in 9mm, great. You want it in 10mm, great. It's whatever you want. And I've always said this, buy what you want. So if you're comfortable with any of those, get them. I do like a 45. I think for penetration and stuff like that, 45 honestly is lacking because of the bullet size and weight and capacity. But I've always loved a 45 round. A lot of people think it's, you know, has a lot of snap to it. 45 really has push. So as long as you get a good press on it and you drive the gun and not let the gun drive you, they're actually really easy to shoot. Okay, let's see here. CZP10C Urban Gray or the P07 Urban Gray? We'll actually have both of those. My Urban Gray P10C, however, now is black with the orange on it. That was an Urban Gray. They're both great guns. It just depends on if you want a striker fire or if you want a double action, single action. They both shoot great. I both love them. You know, I have more time behind my P09s and P07s. I mean, just because I've had them even longer. But for a striker fire, you can't beat a P07. It just depends on what you want. And the P10C is going to have a consistent trigger pull all the time because it's striker fire. Your double action, single action, your double action is going to be heavier on your P07. And then you're going to have a lighter single action. The single action trigger on my P07 is 3 pounds, 6 or 8 ounces, which is pretty light. Where my P10C has like, I don't know, 4 pounds, 2 ounces, 4.5 pounds, something like that. So, but they're both accurate. They're both great shooting pistols. So, you know, depends on what you want to buy. Best cheap 1911 9mm. It's probably going to be a Rock Island. Rock Island makes inexpensive, and I don't really want to say cheap. They are made in the Philippines, but I know a lot of people have them. I think even Channel Cat has a few of them. And from what I understand, they're really good guns. I have shot one, but I've never owned one. So if you're wanting to get a 1911 inexpensive and a 9mm, you could probably get the Rock Island. And there's even other ones out there, I'm sure. All right. Oh, here we go. Didn't see this comment. Rock Island makes the most 1911s that are good from what I hear. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, they you know, if you're looking for something inexpensive, I really don't think you can go wrong with that. But then again, I don't know as far as the mag. I mean, I know they take standard 1911 mags, but I don't know if they have to be tuned. I don't know. So that could be something, you know, or have to do a little work on the gun to make them. Because I have put some, I think it was a Wilson Combat mag, which I know it wasn't the mag's problem, but I was trying to put it into a 1911, and it was a inexpensive 1911, and I was having to wiggle it quite a bit, and I think there was a burr in it or something. But we got it in there, but it just seemed like it wasn't, like it might have been the mag catch that was grabbing the mag a little bit too hard. Yeah, exactly. They just have a little less attention to detail. But, and I'm telling you, on any 1911, I don't care if it's a 45, a 9mm, what it is, run Wilson Combat mags. Wilson Combat mags are fantastic mags. I've never, ever had a problem with them. You can also run Metgars, but Wilson Combats, never had one issue with a Wilson Combat mag in 45 or anything. Let's see here. I'm trying to answer all these questions. When you want to send a slide to Fire for Rec, do you go online? Okay, yeah, I don't. That's yes. Yeah, I already answered this question, but all right. Yeah, LTT is a great pistol. Damn SIG. Yeah, and SIGs make, if you're looking for a better option on a 1911, I would highly recommend a SIG 1911 or a Smith & Wesson Performance Center 1911. They're great. They're great 1911s. All right, Shadow 2, an urban gray or black. I actually have both colors. Now the urban gray one is now the gray and orange and black one. So it has been redone, but I never had any problems with either. If you're wanting the most durable finish, it's the black. Some of the urban grays did peel with a lot of holster wear. So that's one thing to take into account. However, you can always have it re-cerakoted, but the black one is butter. I don't even have scratches on my black ones, and I have 2 black ones. Let's see here. I've always thought of the 9mm as a sissy gun. Fuzzfork is saying that on the 1911s, and that's what I was saying before. The 1911, the hardcore 1911 guys will only buy it in a 45. So, but if you're wanting a fun gun with a little more capacity and more weight, the 9mm 1911 is definitely fun. All right. Appreciate you, Ray. Thank you. Going to run the Shadow 2 and now carry optics now that you have the SRO on it. Yeah, Jeff, I actually have already shot my first match with it. I guess it was last week. No, I'm sorry. It was the weekend before last. Shot my first match with it. It was definitely different to get used to. I still have a broken toe, but if you watch the video, I put it up on Instagram too. I'm kind of hobbling around, so it's, it wasn't the fancy footwork by any means, but the gun ran perfectly, not one problem. I can't remember how many rounds I put through it that day, but we had 6 stages, and it was probably, I don't know, 300 plus rounds, and the gun ran phenomenal. So not one issue with the gun. On me, on the other hand, I wasn't that perfect by any means. So never claimed to be, though. Going out and having a good fan, or going out and having a lot of fun. PO7 triggers are pretty gritty stock, not a fan. Okay, Knuckles, on your PO7s or any PO7s, he is exactly correct. When you first get them, they're very gritty, they're crunchy, they feel like plastic on plastic. I mean, they just feel weird. However, after about 300 rounds of just going to the range and shooting it, and what's funny is dry firing it, I did a bunch of dry fires, it kind of cleaned up, but when you really put live ammo through it, it really cleans it up a lot. So all of my PO7s that were gritty, and I've got 2 PO7s and 2 PO9s, and so they're both the same, but it's one just bigger. But the triggers on all 4 of them are gritty. Now every one of them are butter. I mean, they're smooth as hell. And I've even told that to other people who have bought PO7s. I said, when you first get it, trigger's going to be gritty. You shoot it 300, 350 rounds. After that, it really does clean up. Now I've got thousands and thousands of rounds through mine, but they're butter. I don't have any problems with them. And if you want, you can even take them apart and scuff them, but it's going to do that naturally just from shooting it. Yes, Pistol Pete, they do smooth out. Yeah, and the PO9 trigger is decent stock. The only thing is the double action. So the double action on the PO7 and the PO9 are pretty stout. However, when you shoot them a lot and you get used to them, they're not that bad. But if you're new to double action guns, you're going to be like, what the hell? It's kind of crazy. However, if you go to a double action non-Omega, so if you go to an SPO1 or even the Phantom, the double action is even stouter on those than it is the Omegas. Not a lot, but it is stouter. So if you want the lighter trigger on the double action, get the Omega. With the 9mm, they give you 15 rounds to do what 45 ACP can do 1 round with. Well, yep, Fuzzfork is saying that. Let's see here. But what's really cool is if you have the FNX 45, then you have 16 rounds of 230 grains of hate. And I love the FNX. My FNX 45 is my favorite 45. I mean, I like my 1911 45s. My STI is fun too, but if you're wanting capacity, the FNX 45 is the way to go. Oh, Logan's back. Appreciate you. All right. Any last questions? We've gone a little bit over. I just want to make sure I got all the questions in. Yes, and you're exactly right. I can't remember who said that. Yeah, Knuckles is saying the Chip McCormick's for the 1911s, and I have some Chip McCormick's. I think they're called Chip McCormick Power. Yeah, the Power Mags. I actually had one problem with one of their earlier ones, and I understand on the new ones they fixed all that. So, by the 50 Beowulf, okay, clock. There's a gun. Let's make sure we get all caught up here. Yes, Keenan, you are exactly right. For the CZ97B, it does have a smooth trigger for double action. But if you look at that trigger, it's less of a hook. It's more of like a 85 combat type trigger, kind of like the Shadow 2 shoe or trigger shoe. And I love it a lot more than those weird hook triggers on a lot of the pistols. So, but, you know, it's whatever people prefer. Yeah. That's right, Knuckles. I know that yeah, Wilson Combat bought Chip McCormick. And that's when I heard that they actually made the Chip McCormicks even better. So, well, hey, we're getting to the end of the chat, or past the end of the chat, actually. I appreciate everyone being on. If you have any last-minute questions, I'll grab them. But would you buy the 50 Beowulf conversion kit for the Glock, Big J? Now, I really have no reason to grab a 50 Beowulf. If I did that, it would be in the AR platform, personally. I think a 50 Beowulf's pretty damn cool, but the ammo's expensive, and it's, you know, it's definitely overkill. But yeah, I appreciate it, Humble. Yeah, it's you know, it is what it is. I think the 50 Beowulf's awesome, though. Let's see here. Yeah, 38 special. I mean, it's a great round. You know, I really do like the 9mm with the capacity factor, but a 38 special will get stuff done. You know, and the cool thing about even if you buy a 357 revolver, you can shoot 38 in it. So, thank you, Dave Gass. I appreciate you, sir. But you know, I really appreciate everyone being on the chat. You know, definitely go and hit that thumbs up button. We really appreciate it. I'm not sure who will be on the chat next, or I'm not sure whose chat it will be on next week, but we'll definitely send out the invites. If you have any questions after this chat, please leave them. I'll try to answer all of them. And I appreciate y'all so much. What I have coming up is I am going to do the test on the Shadow 2. I have the two Shadow 2 carry optics versions. I've got the one with the Apex kit and the SRO 5.0 non-fitted barrel or barrel bushing. And I'm going to be putting it against the other Shadow 2 with the full Cajun kit, barrel bushing, and the Delta Point Pro. And I'm going to try to shoot the same groups with the same ammo on the same day, so I can see if the barrel bushing really makes a huge difference. Because I'm kind of curious in that too, because I've shot 1911s with barrel bushings, and I have other pistols with barrel bushings. So I really want to see if it's that drastic of a difference. I don't think it's going to be drastic, but I think the farther you go out, it's going to make a difference. Thanks, Cajun. I appreciate it. But I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be working. I'm going to be modifying a couple of outside waistband holsters that I have to adapt them to kind of some other guns, and running some stuff with my tactical belt, so to say. But, you know, we're going to be playing around with some other stuff. But I appreciate y'all so much. Again, if you have any questions, please leave them. Thank you for spending the Wednesday evening with me. It really means a lot. You know, go check out my Instagram. Check out all the guys' Instagrams. I just put a bunch of stuff up on there today in the stories. And check us out on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I appreciate y'all so much. And have a great night. And remember, an unarmed nation's a very weak nation. So we all got to carry on.